We're back with the Politics Fix with Washington Post, the Washington Post, Lois Romano, and the Politico's Jonathan Martin. I am stunned. Here's Rush Limbaugh. More of Rush Limbaugh on the radio today. He is hot.
Sad to say, but I am the most prominent voice for conservatism in America today. I don't mind being a prominent voice, but it's a shame that my political party wants to throw it overboard. So many people who campaigned for office and got elected on it are now wimping out in our party out of fear. Fear born of mainstream media criticism, fear born of not being critical of somebody because of the color of their skin, or just plain fear for whatever reason.
God, he does righteous indignation better than anybody I've ever met. Lois, he's so good at being upset at what seems to be the unfair attacks on him.
Well, right, but he's had the same shtick now for 20 years, and...
Do you know how rich he is?
Well, I mean...
It's working.
Well, is it? I mean, I don't know how...
He said he has 20 million listeners. I think he probably has a lot. I'm just guessing.
Well, Michael Steele is taking a chance that maybe...
Isn't he ugly? You call him ugly?
He's maybe taking a chance that maybe these listeners don't want to hear incendiary right now.
I think Pat Buchanan called him fat earlier on the show. I mean, this guy calls him ugly. I mean, they're getting rough.
Chris, I love the crocodile tears that Limbaugh is shedding, too. I hate to be dragged into this. But look, I'm not sure that Steele's comments were somehow intentional or well thought out. I think this may have just been a sort of off-message appearance.
Is he going to apologize? Is he going to join the apology tour?
He knew exactly what he was saying.
We'll see tomorrow at noon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he joins the apology tour. They all seem to. These Republicans are scared to death of this guy.
How many phone calls, Chris, will the RNC get tonight and tomorrow morning?
Okay, let's come to the guy. Here's why I think he's smart. You know, I'm not a Rush Limbaugh guy. I am not a ditto head. I don't think anybody should ever be a ditto head to anybody else, by the way. You should think for yourself, which I'm not sure Rush believes in. But here's the question. Isn't he right? He's not talking the war anymore. You never hear him say Iraq, Afghanistan. You never hear him say abortion or stem cell. All the old cultural and foreign policy arguments are gone. What he's focusing on now, I'm talking like Rush, he's talking about higher taxes. And taxes cut at the heart of that traveling salesman out there that's listening in the car. That guy hates the idea of pushing this progressivity. Higher taxes, I mean higher income, screw the rich. He hates that stuff, and Limbaugh's playing that.
It's conservative bread and butter. It's, you know, they're going to take away more of my money to give it to somebody else. And if you're a Republican, that's sort of the central tenet of your party is less government.
If you're a traveling salesman, you do not want to hear this. You're working on
too much. But wait, see,
you got to believe in making more money.
I think the American people have to trust somebody. And the question is, Russia is gambling that it's going to be him, that he's going to pound this message. And the obviously Obama administration believes it's them. And I have to say, I think it's going to be the Obama administration in the end, because at least right now. Now, in the short term, I think it's going to be the administration. In the long term, it might be Rush, and he's going to hit the point home. But right now, I think people want to hear, we're moving forward, trust me a little longer, I'm going to get this done.
One reason why is what somebody said a while ago, Michael Smerconish on this show. We have a Dow that we thought couldn't get below 10,000. Now it's below 8,000. Right. Today it's below 7,000. Right. People's 401ks, people's hopes, their desire to retire someday, their tuition costs, 67, 68 today and dropping by 300 points a day. That reflects the value of your house is going down. Right. The value of everything you own is going down. The only thing of value right now, and increasingly of value, is cash. So don't spend. You know, if you attack the economy, if you attack Barack Obama, you may be accused of bringing down the economy.
Right, exactly. People don't want to have split loyalties right now. Now, where Rush always does well is he stays on this message for the next 9 months, and if Obama doesn't turn stuff around and we don't start seeing some uptick in the Dow, then finally people are going to say, well, maybe that guy's got a point.
Look at him, he's jumping up and down.
He should be happy. I mean, look, he is right now on the center stage, Chris, and there's a reason why there's a reason why Democrats in Washington are trying to tie Rush Limbaugh to the GOP, making him the face of the GOP.
Okay, what is the mutual interest in making him the hero?
Well, for Limbaugh, obviously, it's more listeners, more buzz. It's only upside. For Democrats, it's trying to sort of this back to the future strategy, trying to make the GOP the sort of angry white male party again. Right. It's sort of this retro attempt to bring back folks like Newt and to try and portray them as the party of angry folks who want their president to fail at a time when most folks in this country are rooting for President.
Exactly. Are they also smart enough to believe that it's smarter for them to present themselves as the only governing party in the field, that the opposition is not another governing party, it's a bunch of talkers on the radio.
Right.
You don't have a choice of who to elect.
Right.
You only have a choice whether to root for the current guy or root against him.
Right, exactly.
That's the only choice you have.
Well, it's Obama saying, I have the legitimacy now. Let me run with it a little bit.
Yeah, we'll be right back with more of this. I want to talk about this thing about Secretary Gates, the new guy. Well, he's still the old guy, too. He's former Secretary of Defense, now current Secretary of Defense, comparing basically the IQ of the two presidents he's worked for. He uses different language. He calls it their analytical ability. I think that's called IQ. We'll be right back with Lois Romano and Jonathan Morton.
HumanaBigBook.com. The savings are too big to miss.
We're back with Lois Romano and Jonathan Martin with a real sugar plum for you. Here's Defense Secretary Robert Gates on Meet the Press.
It's really hard to say. I think that probably President Obama is somewhat more analytical, and he makes sure he hears from everybody in the room on an issue. And if they don't speak up, he calls on them.
A marked difference from his predecessor?
President Bush was interested in hearing different points of view, but didn't go out of his way to make sure everybody spoke if they hadn't spoken up before.
Well, you can see that David Gregory knew he had struck gold right there. I saw my colleague's face light up with that funny look. He knew that he had the guy.
Body language changes a little bit.
Well, first, David certainly knew what he had there, which was a live one. Here is Robert Gates, inherited from George W. Bush, saying that the new guy on the block is more analytical. I mean, that is a nice way of saying more curious.
Well, he did pause too before he said it.
Dare I say it?
He was like finding
well, what do you think of Bush's stuff? Former President Bush is down in Crawford putting back the near beers, whatever he's doing down there, which I'm with him on. Trying to relax. Trying to relax. And he hears that his Secretary of Defense is jobbing him.
Got tired of writing those executive summaries. That's all he had to do was write executive summaries.
Jonathan, what do you make of this? Amazing. He trimmed.
President Bush.
We call it politics. He trimmed the guy.
Yeah, President Bush probably isn't that surprised given his experience here for 8 years. But, look, it's a fascinating thing to watch, and it says a lot about who his current boss is and who his old boss was.
Is he that fashionable?
Well,
that he's that transparently. This is transactional politics at its worst. You like the new guy because he's smarter than the old guys. You say he's more analytical.
Let's give Gates the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was trying to be candid.
He was right.
Oh, no, I think he was trying to send a message, too, that, you know, I'm a good soldier and
okay, let's go to something really tough.
Sure.
Kathleen Sebelius is very likable, very impressive. When I think of the woman who becomes the governor in Mr. Holland's Opus, remember the one who comes back?
Right.
Who becomes the governor, the woman governor? She looks like her, in fact. Is she going to get through the terrorism of the anti-abortion people?
Yeah, I think she's going to do that, and I think they've got a clear shot.
I mean, verbal terrorism.
Yeah, she'll get through that.
I think she will for one important reason. Sam Brownback, her home state senator, an ardent Catholic pro-lifer, Chris, has said kind things about her, signaling that he will not stand in her way. So if that's any sort of indication, I think that bodes well for Sebelius.
But are we going to have days and days of hearings about what she did about this guy who was a late-term abortion doctor?
I'm sure it'll come up, but I mean, they have, what, 59 votes now?
I want to ask you, I want you to be analytical here, Jonathan. You too. Why did they allow this fight to come? They know it's coming. Why did the Obama people say we're willing to take on this fight?
She was an early supporter of the president's, a loyal supporter, somebody who I think he thought about for vice president. They wanted to get her in the administration. She hesitated at first. This is a pretty plum gig, and she took it. And they wanted to give it to one of their allies after Tom Daschle withdrew, someone they could trust.
Because abortion's not on the front burner now, and they know it. And so they can... You know, the opposition could yell all they want, but people care about the economy.
And the fight's healthcare, too.
When times are this bad, when times are this bad, they don't care about the
I think what's on the front burner right now is not Iraq, it's not Afghanistan, it's not abortion. It's the failure of the American economy, which is happening in front of us, and there's nothing else to talk about.
And for her in that job, it's healthcare.
Right.
Okay, thank you very much, Lois, my friend. Thank you, Jonathan. Increasingly, my friend.